Hey guys, it's Max. I hope all of you who celebrate Christmas had a fantastic one. I definitely did, and it's good to be back in the office, finishing up commercial projects and some wedding stuff, and then being able to focus more on this YouTube channel. So today I have something very short and simple for you guys, but something that I'm actually very interested and excited about. And like you guys saw, this title is kind of like the future of filmmaking. Now, obviously, high-end cameras are not going anywhere. I think that market segment is probably growing as we kind of get some of the middle entry-level point and shoots and all that's kind of dying away. It's going more towards the low-end cell phone stuff and the high-end. Well, today we're going to talk about the Zhiyun Smooth Q, and this isn't really the future of filmmaking, but I think just as a whole, the cell phone filmmaking market's going to keep growing because the capabilities that we're getting from cell phones like this iPhone 10, we have the iPhone 8 series, the Samsung's Note lineup. The video is getting so good that we can now start using it to get some really good quality shots, and hopefully you guys enjoyed some of those shots at the start of this video. Now, I used to barely ever shoot video with my smartphones because it was terrible, honestly. If you had to record something, you would do it, but you would never actually use it for work. Now, with my A7R3 review, I actually have multiple different clips there that I shot with the iPhone 10 because the quality looks so good that I'm no longer, avoiding it at all costs because of quality. And it actually mixed in quite well. Now, one thing I do wish I had for that review where I did shoot video with the iPhone 10 is this guy, the Smooth Q from Zhiyun, and I'm probably mispronouncing that. What's really interesting about this, not only is it a great product from a company that I really like, I love my other Zhiyun gimbals, the Crane 2. It comes in at just over $100. I think the MSRP is $139, and it will allow you to take a smartphone, not necessarily something super high-end, but a mid-range phone that has good video quality, or something like the iPhone 10 or the Note lineup, and pop it in very easily, get it balanced, and shoot some really nice smooth video, just like it's in the name. So let's go ahead and adjust this. So what I really like about this is how easy it is to use, both the app to balance your gimbal and to turn it on and just to get it running. So I think if you're going to be shooting video, especially if you're somebody who has high-end cameras like I do, if you're going to shoot video with your iPhone, there has to be a reason for it. I think one is just ease of use and the convenience factor. So let me clear out some of these notifications. That's what you have to deal with if you're shooting on your phone. And Face ID, there you go. So as you guys saw that live, all I literally did is I opened this guy up right here, extended the arm a little bit, and now we have what's basically a balanced gimbal. Now, the first time I had a gimbal, it took me quite a while to get it set up, get it balanced, had really hex wrenches, and to get everything set up, it was a little bit of a nightmare. And the newer gimbals, especially the stuff from Zhiyun, are fantastic. Now, this guy is super easy. So you guys saw I set that up. Let's go ahead and turn it on. It's gonna finish up balancing. So there we go. We're all balanced and ready to shoot. The controls are very similar to all the other Zhiyun gimbals. I'm gonna double press here and get to my favorite mode. This is kind of the follow mode, so it kind of just follows whatever I do. And you also have a zoom lever. You could stop recording, but that is if you're using their app, which does work quite well. It's very easy to set up. Actually, I guess I already have it launched. Let me go ahead and turn this off, and I'll launch it again. It connects through Bluetooth, so you don't have to plug in any wires into your camera or anything like that. Here we go. We're gonna hit connect. Found it already. And we are in. So this app does give you some manual controls for white balance. You can control your resolution. If you're gonna do photos, you could do like time lapses, panoramas, really cool stuff like that if you wanna control the gimbal. For video shooting, basically I'll just use it to hit record. That way you don't have to touch the actual smartphone itself. And we're off. Now there are a few limitations, and I really didn't use this app because I can't shoot at 4K 60 with these latest smartphones. They may update that in the future. I would guess they would. So what I like to use, if you want to get a gimbal like this and shoot with your smartphone is ProMovie. This app's only $2.99, but it allows you tons of manual controls. And one thing that you could do is shut off the stabilization. So if you're using a gimbal, you don't need to use the lens stabilization. If you're shooting with like a GH5, it handles it fairly well. But on this thing, I did find it to kind of fight the gimbal. I'm gonna go ahead and hit that, bam, and our lens stabilization is off. And I can go into my settings here. And one thing that this app allows you to do is crank up that bitrate, which is one of the downsides of shooting with an iPhone. The bitrate is so low that you see a lot of compression artifacts that could look like noise. But here we're able to go up to 120 megabit per second in H.265 HEVC, which is similar to like 240 if you're shooting standard H.265 like a Sony. So very high bit rate, and that's great for the 4K 60, and so you can minimize those compression artifacts. And this is the app that I use to shoot all those clips that you guys saw. And you have full manual control of your shutter speed, your ISO. You could do exposure compensation. So just like that, what I have titled The Future of Filmmaking as basically something that you can buy, get amazing looking results from these newer higher end cameras, even mid-range cell phone cameras. The video is turning out so good. Just a few years ago, the cameras, the 1080p out of standard cameras looked worse than what we're getting out of these smartphones. The low light has been really surprising on the iPhone 10 as well, as far as just the sensor and the software that they're using to process it. And of course, for just over $100, you can get a gimbal that's going to give you really smooth footage. That's very lightweight, and I don't know, overall it just works very easily and it works quite nice. So a couple things about the gimbal before we finish off this video. The build quality is really plasticky. Now, it makes sense because of the price point, but along with that, it really helps to keep the weight down. So if you look at some of the alternatives, they do weigh more than this one. So this has a built-in battery, so that's non-removable, so the weight counts for all of it, but it still weighs not very much at all. So you can go and shoot like this all day. And let's switch over to selfie mode. Do selfie video, flip around, do follow video. Let's see if we can go through. Now we flip to underslung mode, the camera rotated by itself. So there's a lot you could do with this for very little money. And the thing is, if you're going out and buying a camera for $1,000, that's a pretty big investment. But most of us are already buying smartphones. We have middle range to higher end smartphones that have good quality, where you can go out and start shooting, and then plus you can do external audio and even make videos like this for YouTube and get good results with a setup like this, especially for vlogging, stuff like that. It's gonna do a great job. So this thing does have a built-in battery, which takes about 2.5 hours to charge through the built-in USB port, but it lasts about 12 hours. On top of that, you actually have a power output here, so you can charge your smartphone. Now, obviously, if you're shooting video and you're blocking the port, you're not gonna be able to access it. But if you're doing photos, or you just want to give a quick charge to your phone, or you need some backup battery, your phone died, you need to charge it up, it's nice that they built that into the camera. Alright guys, so hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask in that comment section below. Of course, I'm going to have links to this in the video description, and the next time you're going to see smartphone footage in one of my videos, which you probably will see that in the future, it's going to be a lot smoother thanks to the Zhiyun Smooth Cube. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.